Hold on. Relax. Everything's fine. So you died, but it's okay. You're in the good place.
I died?
Yes, it was very embarrassing.
How?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
So, you know how some people can order those really massive tubs of lube from online?
Yeah, sure.
So one of your neighbors did this, and it turns out the tub they ordered was a massive crate, and they actually couldn't fit it through the door, so they had to try and winch it up from the outside and push it through a window.
That's all the creative, right?
Yes, I know. And then, though, as you were leaving your house to go to work, one of the ropes snapped, and you were flattened by all the lube, yes.
So, was it predominantly by the lube, or was it the crate?
It was both.
Ugh, well,
you were lubed really well into the crate, and you were sort of, it crashed down, you were sort of a bit in it, then the lube kind of started suffocating you. It was just a nasty death.
Wow, that did not go smooth, unlike whatever they're doing now with that lube.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not great. So am I in heaven?
Yes. You made it. Welcome to the good place. Unfortunately, we only have frozen yogurt around. But hey, it's good though. Humans like frozen yogurt. You like that?
Yeah, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure. I'll probably get some later.
Okay. Let me show you around the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn of discussion.
Welcome by Dawn of Discussion, where we're probably not immortal. So, when a crate of lube lands on your head.
Yeah, no one gets up from that.
No, that's pretty much it. Apologies for the sound this week and actually last week as well. Last week was a whole different story than this week, but my audio device this week.
Actually, we probably should have seen this week coming in terms of the last week's mess up.
Yeah, I guess. It's still connected for some reason, but it's not actually, it's bricked pretty much, I think, at this point, so I need to actually check what's going on. Last week was a slightly different story where just it recorded bits and didn't record bits, but for some reason it stitched the bits that it did record together, and so what we then got was
a weird mix.
So basically there were bits where it just wasn't recording, and I kind of wanted to keep the sound consistent. Yeah. So I just didn't use it. So we're using my laptop this time. But yeah, we should get that fixed at some point. And by we, I mean I.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways.
Ron's our tech guy.
Yeah, unfortunately I am. So, today we are talking about
Netflix shows in general.
Netflix shows mostly, yeah.
But let's get into
I actually
some
thought
general...
of an interesting segue that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, cool.
Yeah,
well,
we can do the general news first and then go into Netflix and how that's dominating a lot.
Sure. I mean, the general news kind of bleeds into Netflix at some point, as far as I'm aware. Yeah. So, let's talk about general stuff.
Yeah, and then we'll bleed into Netflix.
So, first story of the day, you know that we have to talk about this. We've been given a new 007, apparently, in the new James Bond film, and I don't know how I feel about it because, well, frankly, it's...
Look, I was fine with Idris Elba being Bond.
I don't think anyone who wasn't...
I think everyone was actually pretty on board with it, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
I think everyone was in general support for it, but I think this kind of crossed the line. Because I think they went too far. They're like, oh, people are fine with Idris Elba. Maybe we can push it slightly more. It's like, no, you pushed it down too.
Well, the thing is, let's first of all start off with the fact that we don't think a 00 agent has to be a man.
No.
We don't. We just think that this particular 007 has to be a man.
It's James Bond.
Yeah.
It's not Jasmine Bond.
Exactly. And in this case, it's not even like a Jasmine Bond, because James Bond is still in the film as well. But that makes no sense because it's not his actual name. That's a code name as far as we know, because that's been confirmed that he's not. That James Bond is 007.
Yeah.
And this is just fucking
Whatever.
Cookie McGee or whatever. Get it because he's Scottish. But as far as we're aware, there's only a couple of things that James Bond has to be.
Yeah.
First of all, it's British, right?
Yep.
Bonus points for Scottish, but it doesn't have to be.
Yep.
I think actually Pierce Brosnan may have been Irish as well. And I think Roger Moore was Welsh, potentially.
I think so, yeah, possibly.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be Scottish, has to be British though. Has to be quite classy.
Yep. Suave and sophisticated.
Exactly. Not all the time necessarily. I mean, Daniel Craig gets a pass for not being suave and sophisticated all the time, but you see that a lot of the time he is.
Roger Moore was born in Stockwell, London.
Fair enough. So
I'll
it was
just
English.
go through them all though, yeah.
He was English, therefore not Scottish, which is fair. Actually, there was one. I think it was George Lazenby who was Australian.
I'll just put in all Bond
Doesn't matter.
actors.
The point is, one of the things that James Bond also has to be is a man.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the fact that we are so hell-bent on keeping characters from being gender swapped, which I personally can be lenient with it, but rather not have it, because it kind of takes away the authenticity of the character. More than anything with James Bond is because his mannerisms and his behavior are maybe they are a significant example of toxic masculinity.
Well, it is. No, that's the thing about
it is,
Bond.
but that's Bond's character.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? He goes around to women, he sleeps with them, and then they find it great even though he doesn't particularly give a shit. That is James Bond. That is a particularly male thing. If I see a woman do that, I just kind of I question how original it is. And
Timothy Dalton was Welsh. Sorry.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense now I think about it. But yeah. In any case, so the scene as described.
God damn it, Ron.
Sorry. It's London Film Academy as well.
Huh.
Dear, they had Stephen Knight come over, who wrote Locke, which is a film that I really, really like.
Okay.
Wish I could meet him and just ask him, like, did you know you're working with the guy who's going to play Venom and the guy who's going to play Spider-Man? Like, thinking about that, it's like, interesting. But anyway, so the scene as it was described, basically what happens is, at the beginning of the film, M says, "Come in, 007," and then a black woman steps in. And James Bond is in actual fact on Jamaica, just retired pretty much. But then he calls in for the job anyway. And then he starts hitting on her. And she doesn't do, it's like she denies she rejects it.
Advances, yeah.
And everyone who comments people I think are commenting about that, saying like, oh, that's great because she's a strong, powerful woman. She's not gonna, The actual comments that I read are like, wow, what a bitch.
Yeah. You got this hunk of a man who's a proven spy, super agent.
It's not even that, but it's like at that point it's like, so you're literally just doing that to show that she's a strong, powerful woman.
And you're also, it feels like now it's like you're doing this to spite men.
To spite men and to pander to feminists.
Yeah, and the worst part is this is not once again, this is a franchise that specifically caters to men.
Well, yeah.
I mean, women can watch
Bond,
but this is a male franchise. Men watch Bond because that's kind of who a lot of men wish they could be.
Exactly.
It's not healthy, obviously.
No, but the thing is, James Bond is no role model by any means, but he is a good standard of the gentleman.
He is that's the thing.
He is a good example of the gentleman in many cases, where he's not trying to, let things get to his head too much and stay calm under pressure. When he crashes into... I remember playing Nightfire recently, a couple of years ago. And there was this bit where Pierce Brosnan falls on top of a car that has two women in it. So he rolls over and he's like, "Ladies, can I have a ride?"
I love.
And they're just like, yeah, sure, whatever.
It's
But it's even funnier because they're like low res, fucking pixelated characters because it's like a 2005 game or something like that. Oh, what the days.
What was really great, I remember me and a friend of mine, we just went through and we watched quite a few of the Bond films, like some of the really classic ones though. And we started with Sean Connery. And there was a point where it was the Sean Connery Bond and he was in a bar with the Bond girl at the time.
Sure.
And he started putting the moves on her and she said no. And then he just forced herself down on him. And me and Andrew were like, wait, so he's raping her? And we were both like, what the fuck? Like, here's the thing. We recognize, me and him were both like, that's just not right.
Yeah.
But it's funny as shit because you can't do that anymore.
But that's the thing. It's funny. It's funny because you can't do that anymore, but also because you can tell it wasn't meant to be serious.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think people are taking things too
Bond
seriously.
was a comedy before it was a serious action series.
Well, exactly. That's why people are taking these previous ones so seriously.
Yeah.
That's
That's the thing, because I always, like, whether people like Kingsman or not, or the last one, I will say Kingsman restored my faith in that people can make another good Bond film, because Kingsman is the closest we've got to a Bond film in years. It's comedic, super English spies being badasses and putting the moves on people occasionally. It's become more Bond than Bond has, which is really fucking depressing, guys who make Bond seriously.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm looking forward to The King's Man, because I actually think, once again, that looks like it's another Bond film, just done Kingsman.
But it looks really good because the trailer for that dropped recently as well. That kind of segues into that well, because we kind of finished talking about the other one. It looked great because it looks totally slightly different from the other ones, and like the environment looks completely different.
Because the thing is, they look like they're serious because of the setting they're going for, which is, I think, just
but we know what it's going to be.
Yeah, but I think we know what it's going to be, but we know also, because that's the thing, Kingsman was good because, just like in previous Bond films, they had great comedic, campy moments, but they still had the serious villains that were like, that Bond really didn't like, and that you were really rooting for him against them. Like, that's the thing. Like, they had those serious moments, and they played them very well, typically.
Yeah.
Because when they occasionally killed a Bond girl or one of the friends of Bond, and he was just really mad, you're like, yeah, fuck those guys. That's one of the good things about the previous series. Whereas now, it's just it's not the same.
No, it's not, because it's way serious. Like, even with like Pierce Brosnan, still, it was not very serious at all.
Yeah, it still had some very good comedy. Though, because what was the last one he did? It was my favorite Pierce Brosnan one was GoldenEye.
Might as well.
Because it's the great one where I can't remember the name of the woman, that the femme fatale Russian woman, whatever her name was, played by the woman who played Phoenix and Jean Grey from X-Men.
Huh. Oh yeah, sure.
And then when she's like squeezed when the helicopter crashes down, she's like, and it's great when Bond just gets and goes, she always did love a good squeeze. I just think, yes, that's Bond.
I still love the bit as well, like where Sean Bean like falls off and like he's practically immortal at this point. I don't even know how, but like he falls down and then the entire station falls on top of him.
Oh, and the Russian guy going, yes, I am invincible, and then.
Exactly.
Oh, it's so good. I love
that's what you watch James Bond for. It's just the one-liners.
No, the best scene though, the best series, like the best set piece is the tank scene.
Oh yeah.
It's just so Bond, and then the music, da da da, just Bond, just in a tank, and you're like, yeah, okay.
But that's exactly
fuck
what it
it.
is. Like for instance, one film that I personally like as well is Get Smart, which is obviously based on the TV show. Steve Carell. And I think it was Anne Hathaway,
and The Rock.
The Rock was it as well,
which just made it all better.
I just
played
love
a villain as well, which is really cool.
exactly, and I just love that film altogether because that is exactly as well. Like it's a spy film that does its job very well in like being James Bond basically, but obviously more funny and more silly. Yeah,
that one's a true comedy versus Bond, which has comedic moments dotted throughout the whole film.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so in
other words, we have no faith in Bond. We hope The King's Man will be good because that's the only Bond films currently being put out there. The real Bond films that are currently being put out there now.
The other one doesn't even have a name yet. Tell you what is also coming out though.
Because where isn't there meant to be one more with Daniel Craig, or was that one cancelled?
That's this.
Oh, they changed it to
James
this.
Bond is Daniel Craig in this new film where 007 isn't James Bond. That's what's so stupid about it.
Oh, so this is like a handoff film.
Yeah.
Which they will do, it will fail, and then they'll go back to finding another male James Bond immediately.
Yep.
Guarantee it.
Yep. Because they need the backers. They need the people to actually watch the film.
Yeah, which no one will.
Tell you what people will watch though, probably. Trailer was released recently for Top Gun Mavericks.
I have not seen that one yet.
I haven't actually seen the trailer. I'll be honest, I haven't actually seen the film. But obviously I thought to mention it because obviously it's quite a big franchise.
Yeah.
It's quite well loved.
Well, it's not even a franchise. It was one film and then done. And now they're making the long overdue sequel, which, no, don't, guys. It's fine. One is enough.
But it's happening. Because it's sequel life now.
It's sequel
it's 21st century, it's sequel getting. Much like we're getting a sequel to Matrix at some point.
Weren't there rumors that they were going to do a TV series instead?
Yeah.
I think the thing is, I don't mind.
It goes back and forth all the time.
I don't mind the idea of some of these franchises returning as TV shows because I think, and if it were like done set afterwards.
Lord of the Rings, fuck no.
I like the idea.
That's still happening as well, as far as
I will say, I like the idea of a TV show being set in Lord of the Rings, but not from the point of view of Aragorn. I'd like them to do a different time.
No, I think it's going to be from the point of view of everyone in the Fellowship, because they're just rebooting the entire film into a TV show.
That's not, no, because originally they were saying, we're just going to do an Aragorn prequel, which I was already like, really?
No, they're actually redoing the entirety of Lord of the Rings.
Guys, you had two very simple choices. Either when Sauron first popped up and do that whole thing of like the elves and the humans uniting one last time.
Yeah.
Or do even before Sauron, go even further back, or even go further ahead in time. Pick a period that hasn't been done.
Or just take the Silmarillion and just make a TV show about that. Yeah. No one would watch it, but the people who really, really, really love it will watch it.
Yeah.
Religiously.
They are...
but,
they're still doing The Witcher. There's been nothing in The Witcher yet.
Nothing yet. I mean, there's pictures.
Yeah, I think they've also begun filming.
The pictures look a little bit weird, though. I gotta admit, it doesn't look quite right.
I haven't seen it. I'll look it up now.
Look it up. It's Henry Cavill.
I saw the pictures of Henry Cavill as...
Or Gerald, sorry.
Gerald, yeah.
Yeah. But obviously, now the segue is obviously these TV shows are on streaming services. Yeah. So let's talk about streaming service stuff. I literally just now saw an article, so I need to read more into it. But apparently, we're going to be losing quite a few shows on Netflix because of competing streaming services. Basically, there's going to be so many of them. And so Netflix is going to retire a lot of shows. One of them, I think, is Friends as well. They're going to retire Friends at some point, which sucks because they've only had it for, like a year, maybe? Let me actually look this up so I'm not talking
just as a quick note from what I've heard about the Witcher TV series and how they're pitching it is it's a prequel to the video game, so it's based upon the books, not the video games. So they're showing how he because he doesn't have the scar in this like he does in the video game. So I think they're going to show how he gets the scar and stuff. So I have a lot more faith, weirdly enough, in this. Also because I haven't actually played The Witcher. I'm sorry. Than the Lord of the Rings series now that I've definitely now completely just lost faith in.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they'll do it anyway at some point.
Yeah.
Because in 100 years, even maybe they'll say, "Oh, these films are old; they need to be redone."
Yeah.
But yeah, so Netflix basically, apparently recently they showed their earnings. I need to actually look into it. In terms of US subscribers, it's not looking great.
Wow, okay.
In about 3 months, they lost 130,000 subscribers and only gained 2.7 million, which sounds like a lot, but they thought they were going to get 5 million because they get usually like about 5 million-ish per, actually less and less now. I mean, obviously the reason is because a lot of people already have an account, but other people are really like thinking about the amount of streaming services that are now available.
That's the problem. There are not too many.
Yeah, so basically at first it was literally just thinking like, oh, should I go for Sky or Netflix or Amazon? And now it's like, oh, but there's also DC and Disney and
I think that's the problem.
Ubisoft is going to do their gaming services, and there's probably going to be a Warner Brothers platform at some point. So, all good.
Because that was I think this thing Netflix was basically the first one to really do it on the large scale.
Yeah.
And then
there's YouTube as well. Sorry,
YouTube as well. Yeah, which now is an optional paying one though.
It is an optional paying one, but they do start getting pretty good content.
Yeah,
like Cobra Kai is still fucking amazing in terms of the show.
But
I'll be honest, the first couple of episodes are really good. The last episode, I don't know how I feel about it, but like
because it looked interesting.
It's really good.
Because I think the problem is, it makes sense for people like YouTube to do it, Amazon, Netflix, they're fine. But when the studios start doing their own streaming services, they start losing me because I think, no, don't do that. I know you want to make more money, but you're going to actually lose money because for two reasons. One, if you put out that many streaming services, you're going to get less customers than you think because other people are going to be more dedicated to those. Two, Netflix is dominating. In terms of just the content they're putting out there, it's better than everyone else's. I mean, Stranger Things on a ratings basis is better than everyone else.
Amazon has some things.
Amazon is second, but the thing is, it is a clear second. It is second by a long way from second to third. Yeah. But Netflix is first, and it's king. And I don't think Amazon will ever dethrone
it. What Netflix does very well as well is it buys up shows and films if they don't do all that well, so they still have place. And also if they don't stream in particular countries, for instance. Titans. I mean, obviously, think of it whatever you will, but we still have it in the UK because of Netflix. And then also,
why do you guys bring Young Justice to Netflix?
And stuff like Final Space as well, which is, I mean, by no means a fantastic show, but still pretty fun, I suppose. Yeah. You know, it's produced by Conan Bryan, so it can't be that bad.
While we're actually here, we'll look up what Netflix originals there are.
I mean, there's quite a few. There's the thing is, when they say there's Netflix originals, they're not necessarily Netflix originals. So, like, for instance, Shaft is not a Netflix original movie.
Yeah, well, the thing is, The Good Place didn't start as a Netflix original either.
No, but I'm guessing it became one.
Yeah, it became one. Kind of like how Brooklyn Nine-Nine has become one as well now. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because the studio stopped doing Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then Netflix said they'll pick it up. And
really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a different station, but all right.
No, I think it might have been not Fox. Can't remember what it was. So here we go. So these are the Netflix. Yeah. Some of them are original, some of them
the Marvel stuff, obviously.
Yeah, the Marvel stuff. So we'll just get all of that out of the way. So just the Marvel stuff. They've got The Good Place, Stranger Things, Black Mirror.
Sure.
Black Mirror is meant to be very popular. This show, Three Below.
Sure.
Whatever that is.
Oh, The Ranch as well.
Yeah, Final Space, Secret Obsession. Which looks terrible already just from the picture.
I mean, Final Space isn't actually a Netflix original, but...
Troll Hunters, Disenchantment, Shadow Hunters, the TV series, The Last Kingdom, Orange is the New Black, which obviously didn't start out as one, but became one. BoJack Horseman, Van Helsing, Shaft, same sort of thing. The Crown, Blown Away, Jessica Jones, obviously, Our Planet.
Didn't they do the live-action Death Note as well?
Yeah, they did as well, yeah.
Yeah. 13 Reasons Why, obviously.
13 Reasons
the
Why.
disaster that was.
When They See Us, the Lucifer, they say it's a Netflix original, which it clearly isn't.
Yeah. I think Cards and Comedians Getting Coffee is bought by Netflix as well. Afterlife,
Sorry.
They have a ton of stand-up specials as well that only went
Alternate
to Netflix.
Carbon, they did.
Oh yeah, of course.
There were a couple. Besides, there was a few other sci-fi ones. Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery was probably one of their biggest ones, to be honest. Black Lightning.
Yeah, well, okay. Again, that's not necessarily.
Once again, didn't start out as one, but became one.
No, it isn't. It's because in the UK, Black Lightning isn't on TV, and so they've basically put it on our Netflix.
House of Cards.
I'm not complaining, by the way. I love it so much. I'm still waiting for season 3.
House of Cards, obviously, that became a Netflix original.
Oh, yeah.
But what was Lost in Space, the new series of Lost in Space, which I watched. And if you've watched the original, you probably won't like it because it's not super campy. But if it's good in the sense that it's actually a nice family sort of sci-fi drama, it works really well. So I liked it a lot. But so yeah, they're putting out tons of content, and a lot of it is really, really good stuff.
Yeah. But the thing is, like previously mentioned, a lot of these didn't really start off as Netflix series necessarily, so that's a lot of maintenance costs on their end. And also, a lot of these shows aren't actually made by Netflix. They bought them so that they're available abroad, because some of these are only exclusively available in the US if they haven't done that. The thing is, that's what Netflix actually has an advantage on that some of these streaming services from companies don't have. Is, for instance, Disney Plus and the DC streaming platform. They are exclusively available in the US, which is their biggest issue because globally they have a market. They just didn't expand globally. I think Disney Plus actually might become international.
I think that's the thing. It's an eventuality until DC streaming service becomes international, in my opinion, because
that's what we're hoping.
That's what we're hoping. If it isn't, then I generally don't see it sticking around that much. Well, it probably
not until Disney comes up and says, "Hey, we've got our streaming service ready now. You can just watch anything we have."
Yeah. I think that's the thing. The DC streaming service is going to get rude awakened because if Disney does go international, Disney's once again just going to dominate, and Warner Bros. Is going to be sat there going, "Why didn't DC win?" Because he didn't do the smart thing and take it internationally. Like an intelligent person would.
That's the thing. On the flip side of that, the fact that they're not international, in the US anyway, still means that people still have those options. And knowing what people are like, they will go for those options. So they might not actually think too much about Netflix anymore. They might cancel their subscription and they might go for other things like Amazon and I don't know what.
Actually,
so the issue that then comes with that is what I'm thinking. I have no idea to confirm this, but this is what I think is going on, is that then people in the US, which is arguably Netflix's biggest market still, they give up on the Netflix as a streaming platform of their choice, which means that they need to somehow cut their costs so they can still give us stuff without losing money annually. So they drop all these shows. And that is something that we, as people who don't have access to these other streaming services, will ultimately suffer under.
Yeah. So here's some of the Amazon Prime originals.
Sure.
The Upside, which has Kevin Hart, Bryan Cranston, and Nicole Kidman.
Oh wait, The Upside. That's a film, right?
Yeah.
Which is ripped off from, or a remake of a French film.
Oh.
So, no loss there.
Yeah. Probably, I would assume, actually, their biggest one is the Grand Tour.
Yeah, true.
Because I think just the fact that that's proper Top Gear.
Meanwhile, Netflix has Top Gear, and it's like, fuck, what are we doing?
Well, the thing is, Netflix has actually some of the older series of Top Gears.
That's true.
With the three of them.
True.
So that's one thing they have that Amazon Prime can't have. And to be fair, I would say more than half of the seasons they have are the ones with the original three, and a lot of them are the specials, which, let's be honest, are probably the most watched of them.
True.
God's Good Omens is another one, which apparently is going to be very good. I'm going to start
American Gods as well, which is...
American Gods. Jack Ryan with
Sure.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Life in Peace.
John Krasinski.
Yeah. Hannah, which was the first... Well, what was a book, then a film, now a
Sure,
TV. Startup, whatever that is. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, yeah.
Sure.
Bosch.
Mm-hmm.
New Amsterdam.
Sure.
Black Sail. Let me see if it's actually...
Sounds
The
like
Expanse. The Expanse, I think I've heard of that.
Probably.
Oh, Taken, the TV series.
Like anyone cares.
The Man in the High Castle, which was probably one of their big ones.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger ones.
Vikings,
Sure. Which also one of the biggest ones.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else. The Tick. That was originally a superhero movie, wasn't it?
It still is, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, The Boys as well, actually, now I think about it.
They have Lucifer as well, actually.
Yeah.
Presumably they have the first 3 seasons because Netflix has the final, has the 4th season.
That's a weird split there.
They also have The Purge, which they call a Prime Original. Weird.
Maybe because it's a TV show.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Preacher, which I've saw ads for before.
Sure.
Nothing else really too noteworthy. I mean, if I think of anything else or see anything else pop up, I'll mention it.
Cool.
But from what I can...
For now,
Cloak and Dagger. Marvel's Cloak and Dagger.
On Amazon.
Yeah.
That's why it's shit. we should probably go onto a break now because your camera is about to cut out.
Yeah.
But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Netflix in particular and the shows that they have to offer. Not Stranger Things, unfortunately, because I don't know how much you've actually seen from it, the new season.
I've watched it all.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So you might.
I've watched all of it pretty much in the
previous
first 2 days.
Yeah, it wasn't suggested to me for some reason. So
Probably because
It's because it's probably because I put a thumbs down on the first season. Then I watched the second season. Then I removed my thumbs down. But maybe Netflix remembers like, oh, you don't like this show.
Well,
so you don't deserve this.
Yeah, that's probably it.
But anyway, we'll be right back.
After these short
Don't
messages.
move. Sure. So we're back. Let's talk a little bit more about Netflix shows in particular.
Yeah.
'Cause we might lose them, so we may as well appreciate them while they're here.
I still don't think it will happen. I generally just can't.
I think so. Basically, the Netflix original shows will probably stay because they have
the
them
shows
now
on
you
Netflix currently. You mean?
Yeah, but like, there's a couple of shows, like for instance, like Friends, is not Netflix original.
Yeah.
That's gonna go soon.
That's gonna be gone.
And, beyond the fact that people are complaining about the show, millennials saying, "Oh, it's homophobic." It's not.
Is that
You're
still going on? Oh, one of the
It's
things.
transphobic. Sorry.
One of the things that really bothered me is there was I can't remember the name of the group, but a group of people protested Stranger Things the third season because of the amount of smoking in it, and they said you're encouraging bad habits, and I was like, it's the fucking 80s.
Yeah.
That's all people ever did during that time.
Exactly.
Because people were dumb.
That's like saying 13 Reasons Why is a bad show because it causes people to commit suicide.
Yeah. People are just... Oh my
Or, no, that's literally the same as saying, like, that's the same as saying Grand Theft Auto is horrible because it encourages people to kill people.
Yeah. Which
No,
is
it
still
doesn't.
an argument by a lot
not
of people.
particularly.
Not anymore, but it was when GTA 5 came out.
Yeah.
When it
It was even more so, like, before then, when it was, like, San Andreas, I think.
Yeah, it was San Andreas, I think.
And
then Liberty City.
man.
People are dumb.
People are so fucking stupid. But
Video games inspire violence. Really, how do you explain the last 2,000 years of mankind killing each other? Oh no.
also,
Ancient video games? Those didn't exist. Yes, they did.
people killed each other because of chess. Checkmate. I throw my fucking glove at thee. No, gauntlet.
My
my
pawns,
fucking
kill
gauntlet
them.
at your
And
feet.
just all the pawns are like,
Yeah.
all the guards, they're like, what?
We don't have any hands.
Oh god, it's so just awfully dumb.
Oh man, I put my knight in your queen. How about I put my knight in your queen? I'm sorry, sire, that was very rude. You understand you have declared war on me now in the name of your
You must
country.
understand, my dear knight. I must have you executed now. I'm sorry.
That's what it was. Fucking even in ancient Greece, people,
Men didn't fight over women in medieval times. They fought over chess.
exactly. It's like
Checkmate.
fucking,
How dare you?
yeah, fucking Paris comes in and he's like, I'm stealing Helen of Troy. And then at some point he's like, no wait, hang on, that's not right. I'm saying it wrong. Thingy. Well, Helen wasn't of Troy, was she?
Yeah, Helen of Troy.
Was she Agamemnon's wife?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
She became Helen
Oh,
of Troy.
I see.
once
So
she
Paris
went
steals
to
her. And then they go, Agamemnon, he stole your wife. Don't particularly care, mate. Also, he beat your lieutenant at poker. We must
Damn
wage
it!
war!
We must wage war!
We must go now!
And he beat like 2 of your lieutenants in dice games. Oh, the bastard!
Oh, we must go to the oracle to
You
ask
know
them
what
to
really
rescue
grinds
him.
my gears? Quickly summon my greatest champion. Achilles!
Yes, sir. Ready your cards. It's game time.
Yes, sir. Wait, why am I fighting? Because it's
Yeah. Why am I bringing cards? Because the oracle said that we must flush them out. I see. I hope they have a full house ready.
We must pass through the aces straight.
Fucking hell.
Next time ever, actually, if we ever do like a D&D session, there's a war being raged, I'm just going to use those as references. I hope the castle has a full house so we can attack. Yes, it'll be most glorious. What must we pass through? The Queen's Strait. Is she now? Well, not that kind of straight, but yes, she is that apparently as well.
It's time to commit a royal flush.
Flush out the royal family.
Anyways, I don't think wars were actually committed over games.
No, they were committed over multiple.
So saying stuff like that, especially like when you really think about what we were actually talking about. If you watch Stranger Things season 3, and you literally your only takeaway is it is horrible because it encourages people to smoke. What have you been smoking?
Also, have you never seen any Quentin Tarantino movie ever?
Yeah, where they keep, or pretty much any art film for that matter.
Because the thing is, Netflix did come out and state, look, we're going to try and crack down on it a bit. If it's for the artistic integrity of the show, we're not going to crack down on it too much. Which is basically them saying, look, we're going to stop it. We're going to put an end to smoking in shows. Basically, just Netflix saying, appeasing them, and probably didn't telling the guys who make Stranger Things, keep doing what you're doing. It's fine. Yeah. Your show's amazing. We love it. Everyone loves it. Most people love it. Not anti-smokers, though. They hate it. But who cares about that?
I think people just always need something to complain about.
Yeah.
That must be it. I don't think there's any other,
Problem is, like, the 21st century is just the century of cynicism.
What is?
I mean, like, it's just... And to such an extreme level to the point where it's just become depressing.
Like, I don't understand how people can, like, so much, like, miss the point of something.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, obviously, because people keep doing it.
Like, I don't know. It's kind of like if people said, oh, smoking's bad. What about smoking ends of guns, like their barrels? Well, that's different. No, because that's still bad for people.
Yeah.
It's still, in fact, that's worse. Because you're actually murdering someone. You're not doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
What do you got to say to that?
I mean, you may as well just say, like, it is also promoting suicide because smoking is one of the slowest forms of suicide that is.
There you go.
So,
I'll protest that against Netflix.
There you go. Another show about suicide.
I'm unsubscribing now.
I feel like Netflix has, like, a theme going about suicide.
Yeah.
Where, a quick one or a slow one, it doesn't matter. It's, killing yourself.
Or maybe they're just trying to tell us we all die in the end.
Yeah. I actually had an issue with...
actually, The Good Place...
I had an issue with The Good Place, actually, because someone drank water, and it is proven that 100% of the people who's ever drank water died. So, I mean, I'm sorry, the statistic is 100% of all the people who ever died drank water.
Yeah.
So, they're encouraging suicide.
Oh, that's brilliant. Actually, I think the third season of The Good Place made the greatest point of the unintended consequences. I feel like that's just the 21st century personified. It makes such a valid point. Like, just everything people do is just there's always something someone's just going to notice and go, no, that can't be right. For example,
that's exactly it ties into
you know what? In Harry Potter, all the floating fucking candles? That's a fire hazard.
It is.
That is. You should not let your children watch that because now they're gonna have
fucking dangerous. To be fair, that film is horrible for children anyway. You give them a fucking magic wand, and you just let you don't supervise them all the time. They have common rooms where they can do what they want. They could just cast Engorgio on whatever they want. And also, they tell them about the 3 spells that you do not cast under any circumstances. What do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna cast the fucking spells.
Yeah.
That's not saying don't eat the cookie. What are you gonna do? Not eat the cookie?
But I want the cookie.
Exactly. You're gonna grab the cookie and you're gonna eat it, but it's illegal. I actually forgot we actually have cookies here.
I did put them out on the bowl this time.
Maybe. Well, either way, it's like you tell these kids, don't do that.
Good, the Cookie Monster is on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
actually, he teaches people about addiction. The Cookie Monster.
That's true.
I mean, the fuck, bro.
Actually,
Sesame Street has a lot of weird shit.
Sesame Street has a lot of issues.
Definitely made by a guy who's high.
Also, fucking homophobic stuff, sexism, racism. They're saying, this is a boy, this is a girl. Is it? Do they identify as that, or is it really, And then they're saying, oh, we're all different people. Fucking racism.
Two weird notes. What was the first one? Can't remember what it was. Doesn't matter.
It's a pretty weird note.
Second note. I'm struggling to remember that note as well. Damn you, Rob, this is
Well,
your
that was
fault.
fucking useful. It was so great. This conversation actually has a direction that is going in. I don't remember what we're talking about.
It'll come back to me. It always does.
Sure, it will.
Just like herpes.
Probably will be. It does eventually, anyway. It doesn't stay away too long.
Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Unless you go away from Vegas, in which case it doesn't.
All right. One of the first points.
There you go.
I found it because of this shit.
What?
Just Teen Titans Go. And how it's like people are complaining about all these horrible things in all these shows.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, so they're pointing out, like, Stranger Things for smoking. It's like, you do realize Teen Titans Go is worse because that actually affects young minds that can be shaped. And they're teaching people, like, oh, change is bad. No, Beast Boy and Cyborg don't like change. Don't worry, they'll fix it. Change won't happen. And then change doesn't happen. And it's like, well, nothing gets better. Well, there you go.
Yeah, also the best thing in the world is junk food. Eat a lot of it. Because calories don't fucking matter. Remember?
So here's the funny thing. People are trying to fix adults when they can't realize it's too late. But they forget the next generation who are basically fucked at this point.
Whatever happened to stuff like SpongeBob, man? Actually, no, SpongeBob is again worth complaining about.
SpongeBob is, but I think the thing is...
Because he's the fucking worst neighbor in the world. Like, people, like, fucking... The show is teaching people that it's perfectly okay to terrorize your neighbor by breaking into his house and laughing in his face. I'm kidding, SpongeBob is the best.
I can't do the laugh. I wish I could do
Yeah,
this.
actually the voice actor apparently like moves his hand up his throat every time he laughs.
Yeah, that's true.
That guy's a legend.
Yeah. Oh God, what a messy world.
These are all animation shows as well, like children's shows more than
Yeah,
it's
children's
like,
shows.
People don't fucking
Like that's the thing. That's why the original like stream of DC animated shows were great because they taught valuable lessons. They were.
Yeah.
It was just better, okay, except Johnny Bravo.
No.
Don't
Actually, there's a lot of shows in my childhood that I'm suddenly thinking, ooh, this wasn't good.
Johnny Bravo was probably actually the worst one.
Probably, yeah. Because
he was a misogynistic bastard.
Yeah, but he got slapped for it every time.
That's true. He was punished for it.
Which
There
it
you go.
basically makes men insecure. But actually, because he's quite stubborn in that sense, because he kept doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
But
he never learned.
I actually remember a show from my childhood as well. I don't even know it. It's called Chin-Chan. Basically, I think it's an anime where basically it's about this kid who loved dropping his trousers and mooning people.
Wow.
I don't know why, but for some reason, like that was really big when I was like 7, 8 years old, and people fucking loved that show. But my parents didn't allow me to watch it because it was essentially about a boy mooning people.
Shocker.
I gotta thank my parents.
Wow.
Anyway, that's the kind of thing that we have to do. I'm trying to think, what genuine complaints could people have about The Good Place? Maybe like the fear of like not being able to be a good person.
Religion. Not even being
maybe.
funny. No, seriously. It wouldn't surprise me if at some point someone goes, look, this is infringing on people's religious beliefs, and they may not agree with it.
Well,
so
as in atheists don't believe that this is real, therefore you're basically saying that atheists are wrong.
That, and also people saying, look, this isn't Christianity, this isn't the Christian form of the afterlife, there's no God in this, show, so what do you say to that?
Maybe there is. No one actually said that there isn't. Actually, the judge might be the God.
Which,
Or not the
God is
God.
meant to be a white man with a beard, so I think most religions...
Well, yeah, that still sucks, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So it's only a matter of time until people find something to complain about.
And also they'll go like, God would never binge like an infinite amount of episodes of CSI.
No, he would. He's God. He's got time.
No, he's already seen it.
Oh, yeah.
He was there during the taping.
God is everywhere with everyone, all at once.
watching every single show
watching everyone
and letting it happen.
Oh, so you can literally blame God for Suicide Squad,
Yep.
for every
But you
bad
gotta
movie
thank
ever.
him for every other thing that he's
That's
made.
true.
You know, there's a balance. God
Perfectly
is
balanced.
God is Thanos.
As all
Thanos is
things
God.
should be. And wow. But God doesn't need the Infinity Gauntlet to do it.
True.
He just wakes up and thinks it and it happens.
True.
I would love it if they did introduce God and everyone was like, oh, he's going to be a white man. He's going to be a woman, which would be strong and empowering. And then all of a sudden it's like a chinchilla. Just randomly. It's a monkey. Wow, even a monkey could do God. Wow.
Or it's just Morgan Freeman again.
Or it's just
Would you be opposed?
No. Oh, but Morgan Freeman, there was all that questionable shit he did not too long ago. Actually, well, no, it wasn't even questionable. I think it's like there was a thing where he had a relation with his daughter or one of his stepdaughters.
What?
Yeah. You generally don't pay attention to much, do you?
No. What the fuck?
Yeah, you look it up. You'll be quicker than I am. So there you go. I'm not sure if I think they may have debunked it or whatever, but yeah.
Morgan Freeman had an affair with his step-granddaughter.
There you go.
Alleged murderer. Jesus fucking Christ.
There you go. Yeah, because she committed suicide, I think.
This is Daily Mail, which is probably wrong, but whatever.
Yeah.
He did this. Morgan Freeman is blamed for his granddaughter's death at her killer boyfriend's sentencing, as the mother screams out that the Oscar winner molested her for being ushered out of court.
There you go. See? So he couldn't be...
Fuck me. Published January.
Yeah. So there you go. Something for them to complain about in The Good Place if they got more...
I mean, Freeman has denied those allegations in the past. But, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Fuck me. So, every celebrity that I like is a horrible person for some reason.
Do you like Chris Pratt?
Are you going to tell me that he's a Trump supporter?
No, I'm just asking you right now.
Yeah, I do like Chris Pratt.
Stop.
Why?
Before you ruin him. Just stop.
No, but that's the thing, because I heard people complain about him all the time because they say, like, oh, he's right-wing, he's super Christian, he's a Trump supporter. And it's like, yes, for what?
Yeah.
Is that genuinely gonna... I've even, given up on the whole,
Well, that's the thing. You just have to tell people if he lives in the U.S. in a country where people are allowed to express their own opinions, their own minds, you cannot be angry at them for this shit.
Same can be said for Scientology, though, and there is kind of an issue there. Well, it depends if you support the Church of Scientology, because apparently the issue is there, where they do things that aren't quite.
Well, I think the thing is, Scientology is not. I don't view it as a religion; it's a cult.
It is a cult.
Whereas Christianity is technically a religion; it's not.
Yeah, and when the thing is, there's nothing wrong with Christianity in itself, because inherently it's not a bad.
No, here's the thing.
Idea.
What Christianity teaches people is the right thing to teach people. Because at no point in the Bible, from what I've heard people talking about it, or from the little I've read in it, it doesn't tell people not to be gay, it just tells people to love one another.
Yeah.
And it teaches people how to be good people. That's the thing the Bible does.
Yeah.
It's just, once again, how people interpret it or what they want to do to instigate their power. They use it as a tool for their own means. That's the thing. You don't blame the religion, you blame the people behind it. You don't blame an ideal, you blame the people falsifying what the ideal really represents.
Yeah, and the thing is, people during the Middle Ages especially, like the church, said that being gay is bad. Not because it says so in the Bible necessarily. I think it's because it stopped procreation.
Yeah.
And procreation was the most important thing at the time.
Yeah.
Which is, obviously, people were dying a lot at the time,
well, it's similar because I remember reading this somewhere that it's similar with how Jewish people not eating pork, because pigs back in the day when that happened carried a lot of diseases.
Yeah.
And therefore quickest way of doing it, make it part of the religion, say you can't eat pork, people go, we can't eat pork.
That's exactly what it is.
And that's the point, yeah.
And that's actually the reason as well, right? With kosher food or whatever, you can't eat meat products and dairy products within a certain amount of time between each other. The reasons weren't religious. It was purely sanitary, because at the time, obviously, like we don't have the medical advancement. They didn't have the medical advancements that we have nowadays. So
weirdly enough, religion was actually one of the very few things keeping people going.
Exactly.
It's one of the few things that progressed society.
Yeah. So basically,
didn't hold it back.
As you know, the area that was then known as just like the Judea and Samaria and all that is just one big fucking desert.
Yeah.
Right. And when it's really warm, digestion works in a particular way.
Yeah.
So basically, like meat and dairy products are very differently constructed. So you need different enzymes to break them down.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the time, they didn't really know this. They just knew that there was a correlation between meat products and dairy products. The thing is, when you eat both of them, you need more time to break down everything and digest everything. Which means that basically you are more likely to get diseases while digesting those at the same time. And people kept dying because of it. So they were like, okay, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And people just went like, okay, that's what God wants.
If that's what the religion says we do, then we do it.
Because it is what God wants, because if you don't do that,
you die.
You die.
And
therefore,
God doesn't want to just kill everyone
exactly
all the time. He's not always a genocidal maniac.
No, basically, if something gets you killed or makes you die, that is God's way of saying don't do it. So it's like, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, weirdly enough, religion is not an enemy. It's just a lot of people who...
Yeah. It's just what you do with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing with what I've been saying about feminism. Feminism is not a bad thing. It supports female equality. But a lot of feminists warp it into what they want it to be, which is female supremacy, which is obviously what people like Sarah don't want. It's what people like other feminists we know don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what a lot of other feminists turn it into. It's a tool for them. And the problem is, because a lot of feminists have said, oh, you can't tell us, no anymore because that's toxic masculinity and you're infringing on our rights. It's now a tool that basically very few people have the power to say no to now.
Yeah.
In other words, it's rape.
Yeah, basically.
You can't say no. You can never say no to feminism.
Do you consent to being a feminist?
No.
No. What?
Well, you are one now, but I just said no. But you are one.
Yeah, and I don't like it as well, where like people say like, if you're not a feminist, you're a horrible person. It's like,
yeah,
well, I could say the same about being Jewish.
Yeah.
If you're not Jewish,
you're a horrible person.
A blasphemer and you should die.
And you're a Nazi.
And you're a Nazi.
There you go.
Literally that. Yeah. If you're not Jewish, it is because you don't like Jewish people and you're a Nazi.
See, it's all full circle.
Y'all are Nazis now.
Here's the real funny thing. Feminists have, and the LBG community especially, have spent so long telling people you can't put people in boxes. What do the LBG community refer to themselves as?
A box.
Oh, the LBG community. What do feminists refer? Like, you guys, the weird thing is right-wing, middle-aged Republican men, they actually they're not like you. They don't put people in boxes. No, they put people in a box. It's singular. It's one. Weirdly enough, you're all equal in there. They may not throw themselves in there, but at least you're all together.
Which makes them the ultimate left-wingers.
They've gone so far. They've looped around to the other side. It's gone full circle. Because I have said this, a lot of feminists are basically the Nazis from the 1940s. They start out as left-wing liberals and they end up becoming right-wing authoritarians. Which they end up not realizing, like a lot of left-wing liberals from that time.
Exactly.
And it's like, guys, you're just repeating history.
But that's exactly it. And like the whole like repeating history thing, like that's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Obviously
This is
like
especially a weird episode.
It's turning into a weird episode. Obviously,
we should bring
famously Hitler was a left winger, and obviously like he played a
he was an artist.
He was an artist, and there was this one fateful
vegetarian.
Day. He was a vegetarian, and he loved dogs. That was a big thing.
He was a hipster.
He was a hipster. And there was this one fateful day as well where he played, Liar's Dice with a Jew and he lost and he was like, I'm going to declare war on all of you. That's how it happened, true story.
Yeah, there you go. See, once again, bring it back to video games.
Games. Fucking...
It's always the games.
Actually, obviously, it wasn't really Liar's Dice. It was a game of Mario Kart.
Mario Kart has been officially known to end friendships.
Exactly.
As well as Super Smash Brothers, you're trying to beat everyone else, but Mario Kart, the famed blue or red shell.
Yeah, and so basically after that
AKA
happened,
the friendship ender.
yeah, after that happened, basically he obviously seized control in Germany and he invited all the political leaders in Europe for a game of Monopoly. We all know what happened.
He won. He monopolized all of Europe.
I mean, after that one game where he lost immediately because of super tax.
And then the US came in and said, we want to play a new game. Yeah, we want to play Battleship.
Hoo boy.
They played that with the Japanese, and then the Germans were like, what do we play with you? What would the Germans have played with the Americans? I'm trying to think of the game. Because Battleship was what they played with the Japanese. What would it have been?
Thinking Minesweeper.
No, that's World War One.
That was World War One, yeah.
Sorry, too soon.
Oof, too soon, only 100 years.
Only 100 years later. I mean, surely we're over it. I generally can't think of what game would be a good reference for it. Maybe Snakes and Ladders.
Probably, yeah.
Snakes because of Italy. Changing sides.
Or, sorry. Must have been an interesting game at the time.
Maybe Uno.
Oh, yeah.
Reverse the war, quick turning points.
That's what's the Russians, though. The Russians play Uno.
Yeah. For some reason, they always have all the reds.
Anyways, Netflix.
Back to Netflix.
To be fair, I really want Netflix to, make a show about this kind of thing.
Where it's just like, if history were played in video games or gaming terms.
I mean, that's basically
historical
that
points as a video game reference or
that's that one video that you showed me the other day with
Risk.
Yeah, with Risk and World War One.
Switzerland. When you're going, I thought we were playing Monopoly.
There's actually a game like that called Diplomacy.
Yeah.
Have you played it before?
No, I haven't.
If people say that Monopoly is a friendship ender, they haven't played Diplomacy. Diplomacy ends all friendships. Basically, it's like Risk, but there's no dice involved.
No. Okay.
And basically, one round is like 15 minutes where you just talk to other people who are basically representing a country. And then everyone moves simultaneously.
Yeah.
And it's just a big mindfuck because people will lie, people will deceive.
Yeah.
To just get personal gain. And you're like...
Role-playing, basically. Role-playing Risk.
Exactly. But people will take it so fucking personally. It's amazing. I love it so much. I love hating my friends over it.
Oh,
and
God.
every time I played it with my friends, guaranteed someone got so incredibly angry. There was only one time that we ended it in peace, and one person thinks that he was part of the peace treaty. No, he lost. We drove him out of Europe. We fucking...
You Brexited his ass.
Basically, he had one little bit of land left, and he was like, shall we call it the truce then? And we're like, alright, let's call it truce, but he lost. And it's like, nah, not really. And I'm like, dude, you lost your capital. You lost. And it's like, but I'm still here, aren't I? We still hate him for it this day.
So, in other words, he's a salty loser.
He's a salty loser, yeah. But he's the only one of us who's currently married, so, maybe he won at something.
He won at life, but he failed.
He won at life, but he failed the game.
Do you want to play a game? Do you want to play Monopoly?
Yeah.
What about Hungry?
Yeah.
I love that ending to Saw, because I just think that'd be a great ending, actually.
That would be
a great twist of an ending.
Yeah. Oh, the first game of Diplomacy.
No!
That game is fucking expensive as well, actually.
What about a game?
I found it in the Netherlands, actually, and it's like €60 for that fucking game. To be fair, it is a very intense game.
Look,
and
we know this will end your friendships, so we want it to be worthwhile for us.
I'd love to play it sometime, though, here with a couple of people, but it will not end well.
No. Well, that's the thing, because the best part is... Because D&D is kind of like that, I imagine, in some cases, it
is basically
with the DM. When, the DM does something the players really hate him for. It's like, why would you do that? It's like, that's what would happen in the story, okay?
Well, not just that, but it's also between the players themselves. Because I told you already, the Wednesday campaign, for me, is quite difficult. Because
everyone is trying to be a good person, so...
Well, they're trying to be good, as in alignment good, but they're actually barbaric savages most of the time.
Yeah,
where
they're murder hobos.
Yeah, they're literally attack first, question second, and I'm like, I mean, the only reason why I'm technically evil is because I worship an evil god and I do his evil bidding.
You do the less evil stuff,
But
yeah.
if you think away all of that, I'm essentially a good person.
Yeah. I will say, I'll
And-
be interested to see what happens. Because the thing is,
Yeah.
I won't tell you what happens, but if you did manage to succeed and obtain the Flame of Bahamut, the end result will be interesting.
I have a plan.
We'll see next week.
I'm not gonna say much, but yeah, I have a plan. But anyway, like for instance, actually last game as well, like I basically said, okay, I'm gonna go to the Temple of Bahamut, and like the guy who plays
Rogue.
the tiefling necromancer was like, no, you're coming with me, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to the temple, and they're like, no, we don't need people to hate us now, and I'm like, I was gonna hate me because obviously I didn't say anything about the ring of mind shielding because it's my secret weapon. But I'm like, no, I feel good. I've answered everything. Will go fine. He's like, no, you're not gonna go. And I'm like, I'm going. So basically, I just went without his permission. And obviously, all was revealed when he tried to read my mind, which is a stupid move. But
well, the
I
thing
thought
is,
it's someone
now
else.
they both know. Like, well, because the thing is, he didn't probe deep, which means you don't know he tried to read your mind.
That's true.
So he's aware, but you aren't aware, which is interesting.
That's true.
I'm interested to see how both
doesn't even matter.
Wednesdays and Mondays go, because Monday, the big twist at the end came.
Yeah.
And now the vampire's in the actual city as well with you guys, so
True.
that would be interesting.
Anyway,
to say she came alone.
We started off wanting to talk about Netflix, in particular The Good Place. I want to bring a little Matrix into it and kind of comparing to each other, but we've pretty much run out of time at this point.
Next episode.
It was a good episode, though. I enjoyed this
it was
one.
a good end. It was a good end.
Like, I enjoyed this one more than average, really.
Yeah.
We should have more ramble episodes where we just go
literally just turn on the cameras and go, hi guys, we haven't got a topic, so we're just going to ramble about our stuff that's happening to us right now.
Yeah, and like literally like, this is the thing, let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could extend the episodes if we want, just do another part break. And then maybe still go on about Good Place.
No,
Or
I think this is a good natural wrap.
Yeah, let's make that a different episode then.
Yeah, I think that would be good for next
Cool.
week.
Well, thank you for watching. As usual, I'm thanking pretty much no one but myself in the edit room. You do a good job. Don't let anyone tell you different. It's a hobby, but it's a fun one, so you keep doing it. Also, don't forget to eat properly. Talk to myself in the future. That's weird.
That is pretty weird.
But you guys do it on the web series and the short film all the time. So it's my turn now. Oh yeah. Also, don't forget to ask Sarah how it's going with the short film, because I haven't heard anything about the grading recently. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we will see you probably next week when we actually talk about The Good Place, or not. We'll see.
Pretty sure my camera already cut out.
Yeah, probably. I'll just stop this right there. Yeah, it did cut out.
There you go.
Cool.
Pardon me.
So once we actually start rolling again, we can briefly touch on Stranger Things probably, and then mostly roll into The Good Place.
Because that's probably their biggest show out there currently on Netflix.
Yeah.
Because I think the two biggest ones currently are probably Stranger Things versus. I'm gonna say the Grand Tour. I honestly don't think that's probably Amazon Prime's
probably
biggest puller at the moment.
I mean, I know that.
Even though I know most of my friends probably don't watch it, but considering how popular.
Yeah,
Top
but
Gear
the
is.
thing is, I know that a lot of people like American Gods, but I just couldn't be bothered watching the second season.
I'll probably watch it eventually, just because I'm curious about it. Because I had an idea for a TV show.
Yeah. Have you seen anything about it?
I've seen some stuff about it.
Yeah, because
And
basically,
I've talked to Sarah.
but you know the premise, yeah.
Yeah. I know the premise,
The thing is, I watched the whole first season. The majority of it, I just didn't really like, because it was. The thing is, I just don't like things that are unnecessarily vulgar.
Yeah.
So basically, I don't know how much you care about plot twists and stuff like that.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I already know a really good chunk about the show already.
So basically,
or the books at least.
Basically, you know how at the beginning, he goes to, I think he goes to a funeral because his wife died or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that she actually cheated on him with his friend, and they actually have a scene where she gives him the friend a blowjob in the car, and then they crash and they die, and they keep saying stuff like, "Oh, she died with your best friend's dick in her mouth," and stuff like that. And it's I don't care for that shit, man. It's it's unnecessary. Like, I know that in ancient, like, we like to portray ancient times as like vulgar and messy and stuff, but it doesn't have to be that way necessarily. And like one of the ancient gods as well is like the goddess of love and seduction, basically.
Yeah.
And so what she does is she seduces men and women, and she basically gets them to have sex with her. And then when she reaches her orgasm, she basically absorbs people into her vagina. And
Seems legit.
I don't need to see that shit, man.
Seems legit.
I don't fucking.
I think the thing is though, the gods were gruesome beings.
Sure, but
I think the thing is people, because people have come up with the idea of God, and not how gods were actually portrayed. So they're probably used to the PG version of God, essentially. Oh, he'll bring down a tidal wave upon us. Yeah. Zeus would laugh at that. Why? Because there wouldn't be a tidal wave. He would just come down to the world and just create billions of versions of himself and just start ripping people's arms off for shits and gigs.
I mean, I don't think he could actually do that, but
No, he is an almighty, all-powerful being with unlimited powers. Gods can do whatever they want.
Unlimited powers, really?
That's in mythology. That's the way they're portrayed.
No, but like they're basically still portrayed with like a certain power, like a certain power set in a certain.
In TV shows and everything, it's so that way they
No, in mythology as well. I mean, Zeus didn't necessarily have the power to multiply. He did have the power to shapeshift.
Yeah, well, my point is that he would have come down and done it physically himself, and would have been.
He is immortal though. Yeah. Mainly, not necessarily immortal, but like he is pretty much like most known for the fact that he killed his own father, who had consumed his 7 siblings.
Yeah, well, I think
which one of them his wife.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing you got to point out. It's like, oh, does the show really need to be so vulgar? Cersei and Jaime Lannister, their brother and sister? Yeah. Zeus would laugh at that. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, because
I had sex with my sister. She's my wife.
And his mother. And various other women on Earth.
He didn't actually have sex with his mother. He ate his mother and then puked up Athena. That's actually the mythology.
What?
The mythology is he ate his mother and then Athena was puked up by him.
I thought Athena came out of a leg.
No. Or was it was either way, if she physically came out of him and she was fully grown.
I'm starting to doubt this now.
She was fully grown when she was born as well. Well, not a baby in any way, a full adult. At least that's what I remember from the mythologies I heard.
Let's see.
While I was in Greece, may I
add. Fair enough. But who was it then who was born out of, like, I think Zeus's leg or something like that?
It might have been Athena, but either way, she was born from him physically and fully grown. Which, basically, in other words, either way you put it, it's a painful experience for Zeus no matter what. He either vomits her up or his leg splits open and she just climbs out. Consumed his own mother. And I think then she actually came back. And then what else? Obviously, Zeus had. I actually have.
Born from the head of Zeus, which might be that.
Yeah. So his head, I think.
Olympian pantheon, Athena was regarded as a favorite daughter of Zeus, born fully armed from his forehead, wisdom intact. But yeah, I mean, it's not to say
beings
like Zeus fucking slept around with anything that moved.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Zeus was a man.
He once slept with a woman, and then to hide her from Juno, he actually turned her into a cow. And I was like, I didn't sleep with her. She's a cow.
Yeah, I don't know idea what you're talking about. And he then had sex with one of his aunts, Leto, and then he had
probably did
Artemis and Apollo from that.
Yeah, of course.
And they went to an island somewhere in Greece to hide from Hera.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So
the funny thing is, the only 2 legitimate children Zeus has had with Hera are Ares and Hephaestus. And Ares is meant to be a drop-dead gorgeous man, but a complete asshole.
Yeah.
And Hephaestus is meant to be an ugly son of a bitch, but actually a nice guy. Well, as nice as the gods get, really.
Well, Hephaestus.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was ugly, but he was fucking strong.
Yeah, very strong and
You
very
know?
nice. Yeah. Or
And,
as
you know.
once again as nice as gods could be.
Because he's like, oh, I made you a sword.
Oh
Oh my god, this sword is really strong. Yeah, no, I made it with my own hands. Your hands are really ugly. Yes, but they made the sword. I mean, I can't argue there.
I can't argue with him. I mean, he's not wrong.
I mean, those hands are probably ugly because they were deformed by the fact that you maybe smashed them with the hammer a couple of times or burnt them in the oven. No, I was just born this way. Oh, wow,
I love the voice as well because it is so Hephaestus.
yeah.
Oh, poor Hermaphrodite.
Yeah.
Most beautiful woman in the world, and she's stuck with Hephaestus. I can't remember if she actually chose to marry him or whether or not she was forced into it. I think she might have been forced.
I think she chose to.
Yeah, I think she chose to.
Because she knows he's quite powerful and quite important as well.
Yeah. And she always sleeps around, though, with his older brother anyway.
Man.
Because, we can talk about myths.
Yeah, myths.
That could be a whole nother episode, actually,
True.
about the mythologies of the gods.
Let's talk about Good Place and alternate realities and shit.